Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about stubbornness. Florida Stone Man, your topics are so mean, they feel like they're calling me out. Yes, I'm calling you out to help you because I do care about you, and certain people have things that have never been said to them, and they've gone a whole lifetime and they've just not been themselves. They've just not lived the life that they're supposed to been living because they're enveloped and succumb to blockages that no one ever tells them, like, hey, this is why you're blocked. This is why your finances are off. This is why your love life is off. This is why your spiritual gifts are not open. This is why you're stuck. This is why you haven't found a new job. This is everything. Every single chakra, every single little micro chakra will fully be blocked by stubbornness. And it depends how stubborn you are. This video is so important because I see people who don't ever get help when they're the easiest people to help because they think they know everything. They have a certain ego, a certain pride, a certain hubris, a certain fear of being wrong, where they cover it up with the point of just like, yeah, I'm right, and like, yeah, I know everything, and that's why nothing really works out for me. No, certain people I do, when people come to me for help, and I see something wrong, I call it out on the spot. Some people get offended by it. Some people thank me for it. The thing is, if I see something wrong, I'm going to say, hey, this is not right. So, stubbornness blocks every single chakra. Like I said, it depends how bad the stubbornness is. When we talk about the root chakra, when it comes to fight or flight, if you're flat out not willing to change your nature when it comes to the root chakra, so if you're someone who runs away from all your problems, or if you're someone who literally, because you can fight your problems, yeah, but then you can overfight your problems to the point where you don't need to be fighting, and if you don't want to change that blockage will remain forever. You'll never have a good friendship, you'll never have a good relationship, you'll never have a long-lasting job, career, anything, because you take off, or you either fight to the point where you're just you're pushing people away because you fight so much. That's a root chakra symptom of stubbornness. Now, we can talk about every single chakra. I'm going to very lightly touch upon that with your sacral chakra. And you'll notice kind of a trend here. So, your sacral chakra, the main thing I notice about people who are stubborn about their sacral chakra, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. And some people are just so easy to help, but they don't want to receive the help. They're not in a place to receive the help. So, you'll tell the person, like, hey, you need to work with more orange. Like, it's simple. It's so simple. You need to work with more orange crystals. You should include more orange foods in your spiritual diet because, yeah, plants are spirits, fruits are spirits. They have different energies about them. So oranges are very vibrant. They literally resonate directly with the sacral chakra. If someone's lethargic, if someone's pushing people away because maybe they're just feeling cloudy and clogged and drained, and all they need to do is work on the sacral chakra. And here, I'm going to talk about this in more videos coming up soon. This is the easiest, like, if you're feeling depressed, tired, drained, anxious, just, you have no energy, you feel like a different kind of something is up, and you don't know what's up, you probably neglected your sacral chakra. It's the most neglected chakra. People don't think it's exciting. People are like, I want to work on the third eye, I want to work on the crown, but people are so stubborn to the fact that they don't want to work on the crystal just based off its color, which they don't like that color crystal. You kidding me? Back when your parents used to make you eat vegetables, those vegetables actually help make you stronger. They help if you eat, for example, and I'm the only vegetable or out of every fruit and vegetable, the only thing I didn't like to eat was carrots, and that was if you see me, it took a while for me to start wearing orange. I'm like, nah, it doesn't match with any of my jewelry. Like, how am I going to wear an orange over here and orange over here? Like, it doesn't really fit. So I eventually incorporated belts with lots of oranges in it. But I realized it's something I had to do because the sacral chakra is so weak to the point where it needs to be worked on more than every other chakra because it's being so fully neglected. Now, when I tell people this, like, I'm going to get amethyst from you because I don't like orange. I'm like, you have not worked with the color orange at all. If you have, let's just say, like, you have creativity blocks, you have writer's block, you feel lethargic, you don't feel like talking to anyone, you feel tired, you feel drained, you feel like maybe you're in a relationship and your sex life is off, that has to do with the sacral chakra as well. People don't know that. It's because that's where you're a different kind of passion, of vitality. Because think about it like this: the root chakra right here, and then the sacral chakra, it's kind of a need to reproduce, a need for passion, a need for creativity, a zest for life. Some people who feel like their lives are so empty, they could just be remove the stubbornness and work on their sacral chakra. So that's what I have to say that right now, because you might be one of the people watching this video like, yeah, I don't like orange, it doesn't resonate with me, yeah, I don't really care about orange crystals. Oh, it's so easy to help people with the sacral chakra. It is so easy. Like once people start working with carnelian, like, oh, I didn't know this crystal could do all this. I got my energy back and I feel much better. Yeah, because carnelian unblocks a chakra that's extremely neglected. That's one thing of stubbornness I see. And stubbornness alone, when it comes to your chakras, people are stubborn in the fact that they don't want to face something that makes them uncomfortable or puts them in a place where they've never been before, and they have to learn something new and do something new, and it's too scary, and you're used to doing what you're normally used to doing, and it's not working out for you, but you don't want to get help. That's one of the major things. So lethargy, just not feeling yourself, most likely the sacral chakra. People avoid it because it's the color orange. Now let's get to the solar plexus chakra. It'll get easier from here. I'm not going to go too deep into all of them, but with the solar plexus chakra, the yellow chakra, and keep in mind we have micro chakras too. The way people are feeling, they're not going to really admit it. People like to assume or think they know everything. This happens to the best of us. We're humans in nature. We're bound to make this mistake. Even I, as a spiritual teacher, I like to tell people, assume half knowledge. Assume you don't know anything, and you're going to continue learning and learning and learning more and more, because the more you assume you don't know everything, the more you're going to gain, the more you're going to learn, the better off you're going to do. Some of the people who have the most blocked solar plexus chakras are also people who think they know everything. Like I said, if you're watching this video and you're one of those people who you thought you knew everything about your chakras and you thought everything was good, but life's not going the way you would like it, I'm not putting you down at all. This video is here to help you. It might surprise you. It might make you uncomfortable. It might put you in a place where just like, oh, I don't want to hear this. Like, this is making me uneasy because no one's really said it to me before. Yeah, I'm here to help you. I don't care. Listen, I don't care about not helping you. I do care about helping you. So I'm not going to say something that is going to be like, oh, this resonates, but it's not helping. No. These spiritualists online, these spiritualists in person, they're going to say stuff that you like to hear, especially some of these psychics. They're going to tell you anything. They're going to tell you everything you'd like to hear. And you're going to be like, yeah, she's right. I am spiritual. I'm like, you're seeing a psychic. Of course you're spiritual. I mean, for these psychics, a lot of them will just leave you in flat out fear. You're going to feel completely fearful. You're not really going to know what's going on. You're not going to know what to change. They're going to tell you you got to pay to get a curse removal. No. So when it comes to the solar plexus, most people feel locked in the solar plexus because they have the emotions of everything not really. Basically, when it comes to a stubbornness block in the solar plexus chakra, it's when the people think everything is, they know a lot more than they do. But it's not working out for them. It's just not getting that person to the way they want to be. Maybe that person's stuck with jobs. Maybe that person's stuck with their love life. Maybe that person's stuck with their goals. And they think everything they're doing is correct to the point where they're so stubborn that they don't want to change it. And that affects their manifestations. That affects everything. And you're just going to be in a constant cycle of like, just muting emotions. That's where the stubbornness and how that blocks us solar plexus chakra. Let's talk about the heart chakra, because this is very important. This happens to the best of us. We have a pink side and we have a green side of the heart chakra. Now, the yin and the yang, when it comes to stubbornness in the heart chakra, most of the time what blocks that is also ego. So stubbornness is associated with someone thinking they know everything, someone not willing to really receive help. They'll get a little help here and there. It won't resonate. It'll just kind of block it. And you remember how I said the trends for stubbornness blocking every single chakra actually kind of correlate? Yeah, this is the exact same case. So with the heart chakra, you feel like you know everything about relationships, so you're not going to change anything what you're doing to become a better person and attract the one that you love in your life. Maybe with it could be you finding new love, you progressing your current relationship, you progressing your marriage. Maybe you've been just getting drag along in your relationship and you have not been getting married because you have a certain set of beliefs that's actually not, it's basically stopping the relationship, and it's causing the relation, because you're not willing to meet your partner halfway. So that'll create, that stubbornness will transfer to your partner, especially because we're talking about the heart chakra. It has to do a lot with love and giving and receiving. And your stubbornness, what does the heart chakra embody? Giving and receiving. Where does stubbornness fit into that? If you're giving energy that's stubborn, you're going to make someone else feel more stubborn. Yeah, if you tell that person, hey, I'm not willing to change anything about me, and the person will be like, well, I'm not going to change anything about me either. You're like, are you kidding me? And you're going to have two heads bumping. Your relationship, it's not going to work out. Stubbornness doesn't work. Stubbornness does not work. You have to drop the caprice of ego. You have to drop just... If you're not happy with how things are going, evaluate yourself. Do a complete 180 and just like stop and just completely halt your path and be like, what I'm doing is not working out for me. I'm going to evaluate every single intention. And you have to, it really takes a special person and a powerful person for the people who are able to confront themselves and really make themselves super uncomfortable to the point where they're like, okay, this is not working out for me. This is not working out for me. I'm not going to let another 10, 20, 30 years go on of this pattern because it's not working. Like, maybe you're not where you want to be with your career. Maybe you haven't started your business. Maybe you're not in that relationship yet because you haven't changed. You have to do a complete change, and that involves dropping stubbornness. And there's some people who have, some of you, this relates to all the chakras as well. Some of you are so convinced that you are getting cursed, and even if you, like, listen, there are some people who are so stubborn and convinced that someone's always cursing them that person's fully manifesting them getting cursed. It doesn't, I mean, if you're a good person on the right track and you're doing your protections and stuff like that, it's 100% going to get sent back. Watch my other videos on how to send negative energy back. Use black tourmaline, blocks 100% of everything when you use it correctly. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you are so stubborn to the point where someone tells you, hey, you're not cursed, and you want to believe it, you've cursed yourself. You're now cursed. You've gotten exactly what you desire. You put out your word that you're cursed, and it comes back to you as being cursed, and you're going to see cursed results. How surprising. But you got to drop that stubbornness and be like, okay, I'm stronger than that. I ask God for help. I expect God to give help. I use the crystals. I use the tools. I did everything I could possibly do to help myself. I'm just going to worry about what I need to be worrying about and not worry about me constantly paranoid that because the spiritual community, like, these psychics want you guys to believe that you're cursed, so you constantly see them every single month, especially around the first of the month, because that's when they tell you that you're cursed. If you ever look at the date, check your calendars. For people who often see psychics, it's around the first of every single month because they know they have bills to pay and they know that you're gullible. So yeah, I'm telling you that right now. So drop that. Drop you believing that you're always cursed. That's another factor with stubbornness. Let me go back to talking about the chakras with stubbornness. The throat chakra with stubbornness. Ooh. This is the most... If you're stubborn, you're going to have and keep in mind, being stubborn, there's nothing good about being stubborn. There's nothing good about it. I mean, yeah, you like to hold your viewpoint, but if you're not willing to change and better yourself and move closer to light, if you think you know everything and stuff is not working out for you and you've not confronted that and changed it, then you're going to be stuck. Because stubborn equals stuck. Another spiritual symptom of being stubborn is you step in gum all the time. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that before. I remember way back then when I was more stubborn, like way, way, way more stubborn, because I've always been a naturally kind of stubborn person, especially on knowledge, but I transmute that energy into being like, okay, wait, I can't assume that I know everything. I can't assume that I know every single crystal. I can't assume I know everything about a crystal. And guess what? I learn more and more by assuming half knowledge. So I'm someone, my Western zodiac sign's in Aries, so I'm someone who's more likely to be more stubborn, just based on astrological traits, which I might talk about in this future video, but I acknowledge that, and I drop guards to stubbornness, especially if you're someone who's naturally stubborn, from a stubborn family. You have to fully, you can actually make that your own weapon, because, okay, yeah, you're a naturally stubborn person, and I'm not... Like I said, there's nothing good about being stubborn, but as long as you recognize that and you transmute the energy and be like, hey, this energy about me is not serving me, but I can actually use it to my advantage, and dropping that guard, basically dropping the stubbornness, and learning more, because if you're stubborn, you feel like what you're doing is working for you, and you really want to keep fighting for what you're doing. That's a good thing. You fight for what's right and you fight for what's good for you, but just make sure you're doing right. So when it comes to being stubborn, drop that, assume half knowledge, and keep doing what you're doing when it comes to always challenging yourself. For the people who are extra stubborn, challenge yourself, because you're going to have more benefits in realizing that if you're someone who's naturally stubborn and you can't shake it, do more shadow work. Work with Obsidian way more. Confront little qualities here and there, and you're actually going to become a very strong person. I don't know if you're watching this video and you're a super stubborn person. I don't know if you're watching this video and you're not stubborn at all, but you should be a little more, hold more on the ground. So stubbornness does have to do heavily with the root chakra. I'll talk more about this in future videos as well. It's kind of like holding your ground. It's kind of like the fight or flight. It's basically you're holding your ground, but it can be a good thing in minor ways. So it could be a good thing to have certain aspects of being stubborn, but not to be flat out stubborn. It sounds kind of confusing, but that's symptoms of the root chakra. So you really have to evaluate, is this working for me? If it's working for you, then amazing. If you're not in need of help and you're realizing, I don't need to better this, I'm happy with the way this is, and you're not looking, if you should still challenge yourself even at that point, because I feel like everything we do needs to be challenged and everything needs to be evaluated and everything needs to be looked at. We're not 100% perfect as humans, but that's not an excuse to strive for perfection. Practice makes perfect. Keep practicing every day. You stop using your mind, it becomes squishy, and then you start becoming more stubborn, and then it just doesn't work out in your favor. So constantly challenge yourself. Work with crystals such as Obsidian. I'm going to talk about the throat chakra and stubbornness, because I said I would address all the chakras. When it comes to this one's very simple. Stubbornness with the throat chakra, no one's going to hear you. What do you mean no one's going to hear me? You're going to talk, and no one's going to hear you. Maybe the people around you, because remember, we have a projective side of the throat chakra, and we have the receptive side. So no one's gonna, when we project our voice, because we're so convinced our voice is going to be heard, that we just assume that it's going to be heard regardless, no matter what the person's saying. It's either going to be just go right past the person's ear, or the person's going to fight it just because of the energy that you put off. Same thing with the receptive side of the throat chakra. When it comes to stubbornness on the receptive side, the yin of the throat chakra, it basically, you're not going to be hearing other people out, and it's going to affect your relationships, it's going to affect your marriage, it's going to affect, if you're sitting down with someone as in a business partnership, and you're not hearing them, they're probably not going to keep you around, and you're not going to be in a business partnership. I'll tell you that right now. That's pretty easy. It's just, that one's very straightforward. When it comes to the third eye chakra and you're stubborn, that's probably one of the worst ones, as well as the root chakra. You're going to have intuition, but it's going to be foggy. It's going to be foggy intuition. So you think you're 100% right about what you guess or what you predict, but when you're wrong, or you're not 100% right, you're sticking with what you think is right, and instead of helping you, it's putting you in the same spot, and a year goes by, you're in the same spot as last year, but your intuition that you really thought, because we're humans. We are humans. We don't ever get 100% of everything right. But the thing, when you're like, oh, I'm psychic, I just, for people who are developing spiritualists and people who are doing your own tarot card readings, etc., you have to go with your intuition. Most people will resort to logic, and when they resort to logic and they call it their intuition, then they actually get very foggy intuition, because they're mixing stuff up. If their intuition does not come from a place of light, it's going to be foggy. And if the person, if they're using some darkness and they're mixing it with light, and things are just not coming out right, then the person thinks they're right, because, it's just, you ever see spiritualists who, I'll have to give an example, because some of this can be kind of confusing. Confusing. Some spiritualists on TikTok will be doing a reading, they'll get something wrong, and be like, no, I was right. I was right regardless. They're like, your brother's Your brother's backstabbing you. I don't have a brother. Yes, the brother in like the other life that you didn't know, and they won't even acknowledge that they were wrong, and that actually poisons all of their psychic abilities, and it leads to them not having any psychic abilities at all. Now they're just some fraud medium on TikTok pulling cards on people for $5. That's just one example. You see that all the time, but that's a major scenario of it. There's minor scenarios of it too. There's certain people who get stuff wrong, and because they went with logic rather than their natural intuition, because it might have been dark and their guides didn't really help them, the message never really came through because they were stubborn. If you're stubborn, you're not going to be getting messages from your guides like that. They don't like that. Especially angels. Angels specifically, if they see you're stubborn and you think you know more than your angels, you're going to be in some hot water, and they're not going to be talking to you. I'll tell you that right now. When it comes to the crown chakra and stubbornness, I hope this video really helps you guys in like really seeing how stubbornness just fully blocks any chakra. Depends on how stubborn you are. I've seen some people who are okay, let's talk about this. If you're someone who's stubborn, and you don't know you're stubborn, but you're not seeing many blockages, but you kind of acknowledge it, and it hasn't been too late, then okay. But if you see someone who's viciously stubborn, and I've seen this recently, someone who's so stubborn, nothing in their entire life is going right. The person's miserable. The person's absolutely miserable, but they think they know everything. They want to be loud. Those people are more likely to be very loud or very, 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 very loud or very quiet. That's remember how I said about the projection of the yin and the yang of the throat chakra? It fits in there as well. Stubbornness is a chakra poisoner, especially when it comes to the crown chakra, because that's your higher self. That's uncontaminated, pure truth. And you're not going to get any kind of truth if you're so stubborn to the point where you do not accept that you're wrong sometimes, accept that you're not connected to your guides because you're assuming you know more than them, etc. It's somewhat of a vague topic because the stubbornness can be so specific sometimes. Like if someone, for example, for the people who are absolutely miserable and they're stubborn, because there is several different cases. There's a tiny spectrum and there's a very large spectrum, to the point where the person is actually manifesting everything just incorrectly in their life, and they're actually manifesting a whole bunch of what they don't like, and they're not seeing what they really do like, but they're not going to change anything because no one's going to tell them anything anyway, because that person knows that they think they're 100% right. When it comes to the higher crown chakras and stubbornness, that's not even a thing. I don't really have to really say too much about that. That's not happening. Stubbornness comes from earthliness, which comes from just not an unwillingness to evolve as a person in your spiritual evolution and moving closer to God. In biblical texts such as the Bible, it talks very heavily about stubbornness won't take you anywhere. It'll take you to lessons. If you don't want to learn my video, if you're someone who's really stubborn and you're like, this video's, he's trying to like put people down. No, because like my video topics, they're kind of surprising to some people, and it might really trigger some people, but it's going to help you. You're going to grow. You're going to see new results that you've never even ever seen in your life. You're going to find the dream job. You're going to find your dream soulmate. You're going to find everything you ever desire, because once you correct things that are not working out in your favor and you've really released the stubbornness, like, let's talk about it like this. Blessings cannot be received with closed hands, but as soon as you open your hands and you release the stubbornness of the muscles clenching in your hands, all your blessings come and you start living miracles. You start living in actual miracles. Your life becomes miraculous. But you really have to confront yourself and being like, okay, some things I'm doing are not working out. Let's confront them right now and get rid of them so that blessings may come in. And the more you confront yourself and the more you find things about yourself that are not correct, that aren't helping you or serving you, that you get rid of, is when your true blessings start pouring in, and then you live miraculously. Life becomes magical. Now, if you have any questions, you may ask them in the comments section, but until then, I will see you guys next time. Ciao!